It's like we never get a break from any of this stuff. I swear to God. It's like the White House can't even help themselves anymore. So during the day on Friday, we got the news coming out of the White House that they had, at the behest of President Trump, commuted the sentence of Roger Stone, the man who is best known for looking like a Batman villain. He was convicted for lying to Congress and was sentenced. His sentence was supposed to begin later this year. I am sure you know who this man is. I was actually meant to bring something up earlier. It is this guy right here. As you can see, he is just something. I'm dumbfounded. I normally have something to say about these things, but the brazen nature in which the White House is willing to do these things right now is utterly beyond me. This man was actually convicted. Now, Congress, which for the most part went through, I wouldn't call it bipartisan, let's be honest. It was definitely a faux show of real congressional impeachment. However, when under when under deposition, he lied. The man lied to Congress. That is against the law. It doesn't matter, politics or not, you can't lie. He was also convicted of witness tampering, among many other things. So you can now add Roger Stone to the many things that the Trump administration has done that are utterly just comical at this point. Now, of course, there's stories coming out that Attorney General Barr is the one that kind of wanted to give Roger Stone the clemency. I don't buy it. For whatever reason, Barr is so comfortable being the scapegoat for this entire thing. But, at the end of the day, Roger Stone's still a convicted felon. Whether Trump wants to commute the sentences of his friends or not, doesn't matter. Time is going to tell the true story of what this all was. Now, I've been around long enough. The stories on the right, people that defend this president, they think the entire impeachment was a sham. They think that it was all a witch hunt. They think that it was all a conspiracy to undermine this president who is trying to drain the swamp and to make things right in Washington. It's utter nonsense. Like I mentioned a few days ago, I'm reading George Lakoff's book, The Political Mind. And the reality is that they are using archetypes in order to make people like Trump appealing. They're trying to tell this rags to riches story, this lone hero who is being, he's being victimized by the press. And they play this whole story in order for his followers, these sycophantic people that think he's doing a good job. They eat all this shit up like what he's doing is in the best interest of the country. He's not. He's not. He's enriching his friends. He's enriching himself. He's dismantling the norms of the Constitution. He's leading this nation into a constitutional crisis. And what we're learning more and more is that at the end of the day, he's going to lose this election. And he's shedding support from all those people in his own party. Republicans all over the Senate now are starting to speak out, mostly privately, but even more publicly now. The generals have left him. The Supreme Court is ruling against him on a regular basis now. At least he's finally wearing a mask. That's not even a Photoshop. Like, he actually walked into Walter Reed wearing a mask today to visit troops. You know what? I applaud him for that. It's about time, because the numbers, the COVID infection in this country is astronomical compared to the rest of the world. We are the laughing stock of the entire planet right now because of this man right here. You can say what you want about partisan politics. You can say what you want about where the buck stops. But at the end of the day, he has acted like it's no big deal. He has refused until today, officially for the first time, to wear a mask in public. These people that follow him, these people that don't understand science, these people that barely graduated high school, they are going to do and puppet and mirror whatever he says. From nonsense like this to the racist bullshit that all lives matter and we have to support our cops bullshit that you see going on all the time. Listen, I'm all for law and order. I am all for a well-organized, well-trained, protective police force, not the militarized state that we've become. There has been a systematic decline in our independent freedoms and rights in this country since 9/11. And this is simply a continuation of it. The militarization of our police force, body armor, assault weapons, tanks in city police forces, not our military, not our National Guard, city police forces. This idea of government being a father figure and that we are all part of the family that has to give in to this oppressive leadership, this aggressive, powerful, demanding, damaging leadership. It's a sickness. And we're seeing it in this current administration. And we're seeing it with a number of choices that have been made along the way here. This idea that we have to support all blue lives, not black lives. Supporting black lives is rioting and it's looting. Anytime somebody is supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement, oh, have you heard about that organization? They're run by criminals. They filter all their money into the Democratic Party. But these same people will spew out all lives matter or blue lives matter. It's very clear apparent racism, and it comes from the top. Our COVID response, our response to the civil unrest and the demands for justice and equality in this country, the cultural and political divide that is happening right now in the United States is a product of the top down. It is not the media. I'm not going to be confusing here. The media is absolutely driven by their need to sell advertising, whether it's print or whether it is in online form or whether it is television. They make their money off of advertising sales. So of course they have to be sensationalized. But that does not mean that they are lying. That does not mean that they are telling falsehoods. Okay, the bullshit that's going on in our planet right now, and specifically here in the United States, is sensational enough. They don't need to sell it. But we have a leader in the White House. Not a leader. We have a guy in the White House, a Cheeto, if you will, spewing fake news. Anything that talks about him in a negative light is fake news. But yet, every major news organization, sans Fox News, which has been already implemented and implicated as a parrot head wing of the Republican Party, every other major news organization knows that he is corrupt, knows that he is enriching himself off the presidency, knows that he offered a quid pro quo several times over, knows that he has paid porn stars for secrecy, knows that he was friends with Epstein, knows that he's buddy-buddy with the Russian government primarily in order to be able to build the Trump Tower in Moscow. The corruption is exhausting, it's disgusting, and it's criminal. And it's still going on. He's killing Americans with his bullshit about we have to send kids back to school in the fall. We need to open the economy up at the risk of the American people. And it's just okay. The outcry is hushed by accusations of fake news. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. November cannot come soon enough. And I cannot wait with the Supreme Court decision to allow his tax returns to be obtained by the DA in New York is a further indication that they are still moving forward with every intent to indict him as soon as he leaves office. And I cannot wait to see that happen. You know, the funny thing is I didn't even know what kind of Daily Octane I was going to film tonight. I spent most of the day at my parents' house with my brother and his fiance and his future mother-in-law and my kids and his kids and my parents, of course. We had a great day. We avoided politics. We like flirted with the idea of politics, but we have a new rule. Politics aren't allowed to be spoken at my parents' house because, unfortunately, I have family members that are on the opposite end of the spectrum that I am. I'm fairly liberal, fairly progressive. One would even call me a socialist, and that's fine. You do that. Unfortunately, my father is a little bit more right-leaning, a little bit more conservative. He's gotten older. He used to be a union guy, but he feels like somehow the country's left him behind. And I you know what? I almost get that. It's fine. So it leads to fights and arguments, but we didn't have that today. We had a great day. Been listening to Hamilton music the whole way there, the whole way back. And I was going to come here, and I wasn't even sure what I was going to talk about until I clicked on Google News tonight and saw the headlines. And it's all further ways in which Trump is really damaging things. I didn't even talk about this story here. You know, this has been all over social media. Like, I like Goya. I grab their black beans and their pinto beans all the time. The CEO of Goya praised Trump, and it's caused outrage. You know, we all know that Trump has been spoken very diminutively of Mexican Americans and Latin culture in general. He has pushed for very aggressive anti-immigration laws. He has put the children and families of people fleeing to this country into detention centers, separated children from their families, talked about building a wall and forcing Mexico to build it and pay for it. And yet the CEO of Goya, a heavily Latin American country, Latin American or just Latino company, and now the Hispanics in this country are angry, and they have every right to be. Why? Other than for financial reasons. Why would this man, this CEO of Goya, praise Donald Trump? The corruption is exhausting. It's disgusting. And I just can't wait for it to be over. Anyway, sorry for a kind of depressing and angry Daily Octane today. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not. Today I just felt like getting some of this stuff off my chest. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say tonight. I hope you agree with me. If you don't, man, God, for those sycophantic assholes out there, I encourage your comments below. Let's start a discourse. Let me know what you really think about me. I've gotten some wonderful comments over the last couple of weeks. Thank you for watching tonight's episode of the Daily Octane. If you follow me on Facebook, make sure you like the page on Facebook. If you follow me on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing to the channel and click that notification bell so you know every night when I've posted a new episode of the Daily Octane. Like this video if you liked what I had to say. Feel free to give it a thumbs down if you don't. I really don't care. In fact, I encourage, like I said, the discourse. But I will see you guys tomorrow on another episode of the Daily Octane. Have a great night.